Ladies and gentlemen, we are so excited to have with us today a guest who flew in special all the way from Colorado Springs, Colorado, Dr. Don McGrath. Don is an award-winning author. He has helped hundreds of people to achieve their life dreams, and today he is here to share something very, very special. So join me, put your hands together, stand up, and let's give Don our
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Awesome.
Awesome. Well, I'm so excited today to be talking to you about taking your personal power and passion and transforming it into freedom. So, have you ever wondered what it would be like to wake every day to follow your passion? Say yes.
Yes. Absolutely.
Have you ever wondered what it would be like to do whatever you want, whenever you want, with whomever you want? Yes?
Yes.
All right. Well, would you like me to share how to topple self-limiting beliefs that are holding you back from doing just that?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Would you like to know how to take your dreams and make them a reality?
Yes.
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 All right. Well, what you're about to discover is a proven methodology for taking self-limiting beliefs and defeating them so that you can achieve the freedom that you desire. You're also going to discover a proven methodology for creating life-changing goals and achieving them. Want more?
Yes.
So here's my promise to you. My promise to you is that by the end of this presentation, you will know more about the power of beliefs than over 90% of the most successful people on the planet. Does that sound good to you?
Wow. Yes.
Yes.
All right, but there's a problem. And the problem is these self-limiting beliefs are really, really sticky. They're very hard to change, and often they lie in the subconscious, and we're not even aware of how they affect us. Another problem is that we're not even aware what our dreams are sometimes. They're kind of out there in the ether, and they're vague. So those are some problems. And the answer lies in personal leadership. Well, let me tell you what personal leadership is. Personal leadership is the recognition that you have the power to define what you want, what you need to get it, and actually do what's required to get there. So why personal leadership? Because you are the only person who can make that happen. No one else in the universe can make that happen. You own your life, you own your direction, and you have everything that you need to reach your dreams. You absolutely do. And the time is now. These are big dreams. They take big time to reach. Okay? So one thing I've learned is if I don't want to finish a project, I never start a project. Okay? That's the best way to never reach what you want. So the time is now. Another thing I've learned is that success rewards action. Write that down. Success rewards action. What does success reward?
Action.
Action. Excellent. So the time is now. So Laurel gave me a nice introduction, but let me tell you a little bit more about myself. So why listen to me? I'm a self-made multimillionaire. I was a leader in Fortune 500 companies for many years, over 2 decades. I'm an award-winning author. I'm a leading authority on fear and self-beliefs. I also am living my dream. I'm here as part of my passion, and I want to help you. You mind if I tell you a personal story?
Yes.
Yes.
So I was born the youngest of 5 kids, and I have 4 older sisters, so I was the only boy. And I may be dating myself, but this is certainly before the age of cell phones. So, I came from pretty modest means. This is myself with my father. I was at, one of my cousin's weddings, and my dad drove a bread truck and worked in a grocery store, and my mom was a stay-at-home mom. So we didn't have a whole heck of a lot, but my parents did a really good job of not making us feel like we didn't have those things. We never really knew it. But when I was 7, my life was rocked, as was the rest of my family. My dad died. of lung cancer. I was 7, he was 50. And so I learned at a very young age that there's no practice swing. This is it. If you want to make something happen, this is your one try. So my mom actually raised us. She did a great job. I don't know how she did it, having run my own household. I have no idea how she did it, but she did. She always made us feel grateful. And this is my sister and I skating at our house. And we were grateful that, I was grateful that I was rocking that Elmer Fudd outfit. Right? My sister was grateful that she had that fashionable puffy hat that was so fashionable back then. And we were both grateful because we were able to skate on a 2-foot by 6-foot peach of ice in our driveway. So I took some of those lessons that I got from my parents about gratitude, about optimism, about working hard, and I turned it toward my running. So in high school, I was actually a very successful runner, and I also was good at math. So I went to college. I went to Rochester Institute of Technology. I got my bachelor's degree in electrical engineering. I got my master's degree from Purdue University. Also continued to run. I was captain of the cross-country team and track team, and we placed in the national championship. So what I began to discover is if I set a big goal, I'd often get it. If I set a big goal, I would often get it. So that was life-changing for me. So when I graduated from Purdue University with a master's degree, I started working at the GE Corporate Research Center in Schenectady. And I had my master's degree. I was surrounded by 400 PhDs.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, I think it would be a good idea for me to get my PhD. So I set my first BHAG. So has anybody heard of BHAG? Okay, well, a BHAG was coined by Jim Collins in his book, Built to Last. He's a famous leadership guru. It stands for big, hairy, audacious goal. These are goals that take years to attain and are life-changing. So I set my first BHAG, and my first BHAG was to get my PhD while I was working full-time. So I worked and worked and worked, and after 8 years, done. I got it. I finished my PhD while I was working full-time. And that served me very well, because a few years later, I found myself a senior director. I was managing groups of hundreds of engineers doing chip designs for cloud storage systems, medical systems, and I really loved it, and I was doing quite well in my career. I also gave up running due to an injury, and I took up rock climbing. And I loved rock climbing. It changed everything for me. I also met my wife, Sylvia. She's the tick to my talk. We're joined at the hip. It's been a fantastic experience. But several years later, I was working, Sylvia was working, and she came to me one day. Actually, she'd been talking about this for many years, but one day in particular, she was complaining about how she really was bored at her work. She worked in an office as an admin, and she was really, really bored with it. And she said, I'm really bored, Don. And we were drinking martinis. It was my birthday, and we must have had a lot of martinis, because I turned to her and I said, well, then quit. Guess what?
She did.
She did. She quit, went to culinary school, opened a restaurant, and that's her with her business partner, and had the time of her life following her dream. But when she did this, it inspired me to, well, what's my dream? I only get one shot, right? Only one shot. What do I want to do? And so that set me on a journey. I ended up writing a book, 50 Athletes Over 50. I interviewed 50 athletes over the age of 50 in all kinds of different sports, figuring out how do they stay active, because that's what I want to do. I wanted to be that old codger out there cranking. What I really discovered is I love to write, I love to speak, I loved all things about that. So what I did is I decided to set BHAG number 2. And what this was is by the age of 50, which was a dear age to me, that I wanted to be able to have enough means so I could leave my corporate job and go follow my passion for writing and for teaching and for climbing and all the things that I knew I wanted to do. So I worked and worked and worked at that. Financial crisis of 2008 hit. Boom! Threw me off track a bit. But I pushed and I stayed and I focused. Then one day I got a call from my boss. And he kind of unceremoniously told me that my job was going away. And this rocked me. My career had been up and to the right for as long as I'd been working. So this rocked me. And it would have been very easy for me to get off kilter and lose my focus on my BHAG. But I didn't, because 1 year later, I came out with the book Vertical Mind, which has become very, very popular with rock climbers. In fact, it was named in the top 25 most influential books in climbing literature history.
Love it.
So it's been very, very good to me. And in fact, on April 7th of this year, I reached BHAG number, how many?
3.
2. BHAG number 2.
That was done.
And I left, so I was able to leave my work, my corporate job, and come do this with you.
Awesome.
And since then, I've been touring. I've done workshops with climbers around, in climbing gyms around the country. I'm a climbing guide. I teach people about how to break self-limiting beliefs using climbing. So through all this, I learned that personal leadership is freedom. So setting those big goals, those big dreams that are out there, and then having the mindset to follow them through is the key to reaching freedom. But there are challenges. Like I said before, those self-limiting beliefs are deep, and they're very sticky. They can be very hard to change. And also, have you ever felt this way as this poor woman in this
Yes.
graphic?
Yes.
Right? We got the stress of day to day. Is she thinking about her life's dream? Is she thinking about a BHAG? She's thinking about lunch. Right? She's thinking about escaping, getting home, and hopefully getting some rest. So between those two things, there are challenges. Well, I've come up with a system. I call it the Big, Hairy, Audacious Goal System. And it helps you take your personal power and passion and create the freedom that you desire. Now, I also have a much bigger reason. Now, this is BHAG number 3. Okay? I know I can do this. I've nailed it twice. I want to help over 1 million people reach their dreams within 10 years. So by the time I'm 65, I want to help over 1 million people reach their dreams, and I will do it.
Woo. Awesome.
So what's the difference with this program? Well, one of the differences is I've learned the hard lessons in reaching my BHAGs and setting my BHAGs. I've had the setbacks, I've spent the money, I've spent the time, and I'll help you avoid all of that. Another way this is different, I'm there for you. I will help you, I will take you by the hand and show you exactly what to do. You might be thinking, Don, I don't have the time. Well, have you ever heard the idiom that if you want something done, give it to the busiest person?
Yes.
There's truth in that, right? We all have 24 hours in a day, and how is it some people accomplish a tremendous amount, and some people always wish that they had enough time to get that 1 more hour sleep? Well, it's about what you do with that time, and I will show you how to do that. I've mastered that. Okay, so these are the 5 simple steps to freedom. 1, the first is to eliminate self-limiting beliefs. 2 is to discover your BHAG. The 3rd is to come up with a 1-year plan that's actionable. The 4th is to increase productivity so you can actually do the work that's required. And then 5th, hey, celebrate. When you reach such a big milestone, celebrate and rejoice. So let me tell you about the first of those steps. So the first is eliminating self-limiting beliefs. Let me tell you about how beliefs, emotions, and decisions are related. So here are our 5 senses. There's things called schemas that are filters that help us to interpret that. Those are shaped by our beliefs. They're shaped by what we believe. Who believes that how we interpret our senses are based upon our beliefs?
Yes.
Those become thoughts. Our thoughts influence our beliefs, and that's why beliefs are so sticky.
Yes.
Okay? Thoughts influence emotions, beliefs influence emotions. So when it comes time to make a decision where we take an action that gets results and consequences, so the inputs are beliefs, emotions, which are doubly influenced by beliefs, and what we think are facts. This is the reason most of our decisions are based upon beliefs and emotions. Who believes that? Say yes.
Yes.
All right. So one thing, if I go to a party, I go to a social gathering, and people find out I'm a rock climber. One of the most common things I hear is, I can never do that. I could never do that. And in the back of my head, I'm thinking, I know people with no arms.
Yes, yes.
I know people with no legs who climb. I know blind people who climb. I know deaf people who climb. Of course you can climb. You've decided not to. So instead of I cannot, you can. You've just decided not to. And that's just an example of a self-limiting belief. One way I found to get rid of self-limiting beliefs is do some things you don't think you can do. Whether it be a rock climb, whether it be a ninja warrior course, whatever that is, take on that thing that you don't think you can do and crush it. Begins opening your eyes to what you truly are capable of doing. So step number 2, discover your BHAG. Determine what really is your dream. For a lot of us, our dreams are out there, they're kind of vague. But really get with what is that you truly, truly want, if not one thing else in the entire universe. And then you need to know when you finish. You need to know when you get there. How are you going to measure it? It's got to be tangible, got to be measurable. And then there's hardly a BHAG that I know of that doesn't need sub-BHAGs. Other big goals that are required in order to get to that BHAG. You need sub-BHAGs, so define those. Okay, number 3, create a 1-year plan. These goals take years, but the only thing that's actionable is what you're going to do now. So map out a detailed plan of what you're going to do this year, what you'll need to get there, how you're going to measure it. Number 4 is to increase productivity, and I've actually become quite efficient at doing all the things that I've done. And one thing that I've noticed is people who get a lot done plan weekly, then daily. Most of us have a daily list. But actually, if you think about your week more globally, you can actually get the things that have to be done that are a little less urgent, a little more important if you think and plan weekly, then daily. Another thing is, have you ever sat down to do something and not known where to start? Something on your list. You sat down, I don't know where to start. That's because that's a project. There's a difference between a project and a task.
Yes.
A project is made up of tasks, and you can only sit down and do something if it can be done in a sitting. So learning how to break projects into tasks, and then block time. Every time our brain has to context shift, like a text message comes in, an email message comes in, you're listening to me, it gets phone vibrating, that turns our attention away, and when we have to go back, it takes minutes for us to get back to full throttle. So really, by working in block time, and I like to work in times up to 90 minutes at the most, you can actually gain back an hour or more per day. The 5th step, celebrate success. When I reached my last BHAG, we did all these things. Okay, so we had a huge party. We took a trip to Hawaii, and I set my next BHAG, which I told you about earlier. So, question is, do you want to be my next success story? I've helped many people to shift their mindset and do these things. And will you be my next success story?
Yes.
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 So my freedom, my vision of freedom was to be able to go around and teach climbing and help climbers make a contribution to the sport that has given me so much in my life and taught me so much. It's also to knock around with my wife and do our goofy adventures with our cow, Wanda. Like Wanda. We love that.
Where's Wanda?
So your dream may be different. Your dream may be going on a cruise. Right? It may be going on a beach and spending some time there. What is that for you? Think about what that would be. So, is it okay for me to show how I can help you?
Yes.
Yes. Please do.